The warm weather is finally here. The real warm weather. The kind where the nighttime temperatures don't free fall as soon as the sun goes down. And that means that it's time for corn. Wonderful sweet corn that most people are thinking about seeding in their garden right now. We took a different route, however, and actually made corn starter plants just as winter was turning into spring. Our corn starters are now 2 feet tall, and now is the time to get them into the garden in anticipation for summer. Our work for the corn actually began even longer ago. In the fall, we cleared out one of the 8-foot beds of dandelions and arugula and then prepped it for a dormant winter. We lifted the mulch on it yesterday and then began preparing and setting it up for our summer corn. First, we laid down another weed barrier, watering that newspaper as we went along to prevent it from flying away. You can use cardboard as well, but for what cardboard excels at as a weed barrier, it's equally less ideal in allowing your crop to penetrate to reach the soil profile. Always make sure to tuck in those corners when sheet mulching. That's the first point of entry for new weeds to pop up. One last watering, and then we're ready for some planting. As we said before, in the late winter, we actually started our corn seedlings indoors with the thought to advance them as soon as possible with the goal of harvesting corn in June and July instead of August and September. Our sweet corn was first seeded in plug trays and then moved on to the 4-inch nursery pots. From the date of germination, we grew them for about 7 weeks total. Here, I'm actually finding the corn starters to be somewhat pot-bound. That is, the roots have filled the pot and are putting outward pressure, making them hard to get out. So, rather than tugging on those stems, possibly damaging the plant, we firmly and methodically massage the base of that pot until that plant is ready to come out on its own. For planting in a no-till sheet mulch garden, things couldn't get any easier. Simply place the pot right on top of the weed barrier, pushing it firmly into place. Ideally, corn is planted about 10 inches apart in rows that are about 30 inches apart. But when dealing with less than 20 plants, I want a greater density of corn to ensure pollination. So I space mine about 8 inches apart in rows that are roughly 12 inches apart. Nothing is measured here, it's all just eyeballed, but it gives you an idea of what I was shooting for. As you go along, don't stress about the plants that flop over, as long as they're not damaged. We'll simply just write them up when we plant. To plant, we then take a quality organic potting mix and basically mound it around the base of each corn start. Move your way down the bed, trying to get each stalk as vertical as possible. If some stalks just won't stay vertical, don't worry about it. We'll have one more chance at propping them up later. With the bed fully planted, we're now entering the home stretch. Our first instinct is to water, especially on a dry day like today. But watering from above would be a disaster right now. That means our immediate next step is to mulch. This year, I'm mulching my corn with green grass clippings. I'm doing this for 2 reasons. One is, corn are heavy feeders. The grass will shed nitrogen back into the soil for that corn to use. And 2, green grass creates heat as it composts. The heat and the nutrients generated by the green grass will give my corn the boost it needs heading into summer. Lay the mulch on thick, at least 3 inches. And for the plants that gave us trouble standing up straight, we can now use this thick mulch to prop them up even more. Finally, we can take that celebratory last step and water our corn. Give the bed a really good soaking. A 32 square foot bed like this easily gobbled up 40 to 45 liters of water to fully soak it properly. All in all, the bed took us about 45 minutes to prep, plant, mulch, and water. I hope this series was helpful for you, and that by following along with the tips provided, you grow the most fantastic corn possible this year. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. If you're getting value in this and the other series that I'm doing on YouTube, hit those like, share, and subscribe buttons if you'd be so kind, and I'll see you in the next video.